So now, students, in this video, we will now complete our question answer part. Okay? Now, open your books and notebooks. Now, we will complete the question answer. You have to note down the question from your book. I am reading your book so you can be able to understand for which question I am going to explain the answer, and you have to note the answer from the video. Okay? The first question is, what do you understand by term memory management? What do you understand by the term memory management? Now see the answer. Memory management is the process of controlling and coordinating computer memory, assigning portions called blocks to various running programs to optimize overall system performance. Memory management resides in hardware, in the operating system and its programs and applications. Okay? Memory management is the process of controlling and coordinating computer memory. It is the process of managing the computer memory, assigning portions and called blocks to various running programs, assigning the fixed portions or blocks to optimize overall performance of the computer. Where does it reside? It resides in hardware, in the operating system, in programs and applications. Okay? Now you will write the answer. Answer number 1. Memory management is the process of controlling and coordinating computer memory, assigning portions called blocks to various running programs to optimize overall system performance. Full stop. Memory management resides in hardware, in operating system and in programs and applications. Okay? Note it down. Okay, children, now your second question is, what are the secondary storage devices? Your second question is, what are the secondary storage devices? Okay? Now, in the second part is, write any 4 features. Instead of 4, make it 2. Write any 2 features. What are the secondary storage devices, and write any 2 features. Okay? Now see the answer. Secondary storage devices provide a way for the computer to store information. What does secondary storage devices do? It provides a way for the computer to store information on a permanent basis. How do secondary storage devices store? It stores on a permanent basis. The 3 primary categories for storage devices are magnetic storage, optical storage and solid state storage. Examples are CD, DVDs and flash drive. Once again, I am going to read it after explaining. Secondary storage devices provide a way for the computer to store information on a permanent basis. Full stop. The 3 primary categories for storage devices are magnetic storage, optical storage and solid state storage. Example, CDs, DVDs and flash drives. Is it clear? Okay. Now, after this, note down the third question. Yes, some features are left. So, children, in your second question, there is one more part. Write any 2 features. You have to write the 2 features of secondary storage device. So, after the answer written of second answer written, you will include features of secondary storage device. After the second answer you have written in your notebook, you will write features of secondary storage device heading. Now, you will write the first feature: storage devices hold data even when the computer is turned off. Secondary storage holds data even when the computer is turned off. Second feature you will write, the two primary storage technologies are magnetic and optical. The two primary storage technologies are magnetic and optical. By here your second answer is complete. By here, till here you have to note down the second answer. Okay, after this you will note down the next question. Define the term data and mention its type. Okay, note it down from the book. Now after the question, I am explaining the answer. Number 3. Data is a collection of basic facts. Data is a collection of basic facts such as name, numbers, pictures, graphs, spatial symbols, etc. Okay? Data is a collection of basic facts such as name, numbers, pictures, graphs, spatial symbols, etc. Data can be random or simple. Data can be random or simple. This we have studied. There are two types of data: analog data and digital data. This we have already read. You might have read the chapter again. Okay? So complete your answer number 3 till here. Okay? So children, now your next question is, what is the difference between DRAM and SRAM? What is difference between DRAM and SRAM? Now note it down from the book into your notebook question, and I am explaining the answer. Also listen the answer and see the answer properly and note it down in the notebooks. DRAM. It stands for Dynamic Random Access Memory. What is the full form of DRAM? It stands for Dynamic Random Access Memory. It is a memory that must be constantly refreshed. It means regular refresh, or it may lose its contents, or if it is not refreshed, the contents in this memory are lost. Dynamic RAM is generally used for main memory in computing devices. Where it is used in the main memory. Okay? SRAM, that is, it stands for static RAM, random access memory. It is static in nature. It is static in nature because it does not need to be refreshed. Means, still if it does not refresh it, the contents will not get lost. It is often used for cache memory. DRAM, dynamic RAM, it is used for main memory. SRAM, static RAM, is used for cache memory. Now, again I am reading the answer. Listen and note down your notebook. DRAM, you will give the heading DRAM. It stands for Dynamic Random Access Memory. It is a memory that must be constantly refreshed or it may lose its contents. DRAM is generally used for main memory in computing devices. Now, in the next line you will give SRAM. It stands for Static Random Access Memory. Full stop. It is static in nature because it does not need to be refreshed continuously. Full stop. It is often used for cache memory. So children, now we will do our next part. Answer the following question. You will write the heading in your notebook. Answer the following questions and note down the first question from the book. That is, write a note on the following. Write a note on the following. First, information. Second is internal and external memory. And third is cache memory. Okay. First of all, we will give the heading. In answer, we will give the heading information. First of all, we will do information. So write the heading information and note down. Information is a piece of data which is useful for the mankind. It is a piece of data that is very useful for the mankind. it is also called a processed data. It is the data after processing. So it is called a processed data. Okay. Now second heading is internal and external memory. Second topic is internal and external memory. In this, first we will discuss about the internal memory, then we will discuss about the external memory. Okay. Now give the heading internal memory. It is a primary memory that is directly accessible by the CPU or the processor. Again I am reading, it is a primary memory that is directly accessible by the CPU or the processor. Also called as main memory. It is also called as main memory. Now external memory, it is secondary memory. Okay, external memory it is secondary memory that is not directly accessible by the CPU. This is not directly accessible by the CPU. It is lower than the main memory or the processor, also called as auxiliary memory. Okay, it is also called as auxiliary memory. So children, note down the answer of part 1 and part 2 into your notebooks. So children, note down the next question. Your next question. Next part is cache memory. Sorry, in this own question, it will be the third part. It is cache memory. So give the heading cache memory. Now see on the board cache memory. You will give the heading. Now you will write it is section of computer's memory that temporarily retains recently accessed data. From where? It retains from the main memory in order to speed up repeated access to the same data. In order to speed up, if the data is once saved in main memory, it takes again and again and access directly from the main memory to speed up repeated access of the same data. It provides rapid access without having to wait for the system to load. It provides rapid access. It means it increases the performance of the computer. Okay, so you will write it is a section of computer's memory that temporarily retains recently accessed data in order to speed up repeated access to the same data. Full stop. It provides rapid access without having to wait for system to load. Okay. Now, note down the second question. It is question number B. Define a memory unit. What are different types of units used for computer memory? Note it down in your notebooks. Okay. Now, see the answer. Memory unit is the amount of data. What is memory unit? It is the amount of data that can be stored in the storage. Okay. That can be stored in the storage unit. So what is memory unit? It is the amount of data that can be stored in the storage unit. This storage capacity is expressed in terms of bytes. How is this expressed? What are units? These are expressed in the terms of bytes. Okay. The different types of units used for computer memory are. So here we will give some examples. There are byte, KB, kilobyte, MB, megabyte, GB, gigabyte, TB, terabyte, TB, petabyte, etc. etc. So again I am reading the answer. Memory unit is the amount of data that can be stored in the storage unit. Full stop. This storage capacity is expressed in terms of bytes. The different types of units used for computer memory are byte, KB, kilobyte, MB, megabyte, GB, gigabyte, TB, terabyte, TB, petabyte, etc. etc. Okay. Now note it down in your notebook. So children, after the second question, note down the next question, and that is the last question of this chapter. Define the concept of IPO cycle with a relevant diagram. Define the concept of IPO cycle with a relevant diagram. Okay, note it down in your notebook. Okay, after the question, first see the video and then note it down in your the answer in your notebook. Okay. Answer third. IPO stands for input process output. What is the first of all we will in the full form of IPO? It is input process output. To get output, we have to first give input. First, we will give input, and then input needs to be processed. Then the processing work will be done by the processing device to get the desired result. To get the desired result. And what do we call that result? That is output. That is output. Okay? So, this is the IPO cycle. Now, you will make a diagram and name it IPO cycle. And you will name it IPO cycle. And in this diagram, you will write data and instructions. Data and instructions. Okay? So, you can also make blocks. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, in block first, you will write data and instructions. Okay. In second, you will write processing. And third, output. So here, input will be given as raw data. Okay. That is data or instructions. And the processing work will be done by the processing device. And then we will get the result. That is output. Okay. And you will name the process IPO cycle. The arrow mark will be go from data instructions to processing, then output. Again, you will get new instructions and then processing, then output. Like this, you will draw in your notebook. This diagram you will draw on the blank side and you will write on the lining page. Okay. Till here, complete your work. By here, your chapter is now finished. Okay. Now we will do the extra work in your next video. Okay. Till then, complete your work. Okay, students. Okay.